Hello everyone and welcome back to more political chatter. This video is going to be more of a unique one. This will be about the 2022 French presidential runoff election between Emmanuel Macron, the independent and more moderate candidate, versus Marine Le Pen of the National Rally. And I really need to make a video about this because of the stakes of this election, and it's definitely one that I've been involved in. I know this is the first video that I have covered a foreign presidential election, but this one is just so interesting to me and so close when I wouldn't think it would be close, and very similar to the 2016 election in my opinion, that I just had to. I'll also point out that I will most likely be live tomorrow. The polls close at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So where I am, the polls will close at 2 for what's it called? Whatever the middle time is, it will be 1 p.m. and for Pacific time it will be 12 a.m. So no, 12 p.m. I think. I don't know, something, but just around 2 Eastern time, I will most likely be live. I don't want to make any certain promises because I might be busy, but I will most likely do it, and I will see the results coming in. I really want to see this election. So this election is extremely interesting. So Emmanuel Macron is the incumbent president of France. Okay, so this is him. He is I don't even know what party it is. La Republic in March. I don't know. I take French, so I'm pretty interested in this election. So, but he is the moderate candidate. If we remember from 2017, it was Macron versus Le Pen. We can actually go to it right here. And Le Pen won big time. Macron won big time. He beat Le Pen by 33 percentage points. He won double the amount of votes than Le Pen. But this time around, it's much more interesting, and most polls have shown it in a double digit. And at the end of this video, I really want you to hear, all my reasoning, and then I will say my final projection. So let's get into this video. So the first thing that I want to point out is that this election is a bit different than U.S. elections. So in U.S. elections, we both major parties, Democrat and Republican, nominate a candidate to represent their party in the presidential election. However, in France, there is a first round of voting, and in European countries, countries around the world, there are many bigger parties than just two. There are a lot of big parties that have a lot of support. So let's go to the first round of voting. So this first round, if I could find it, had many candidates, and we had one who was a socialist. Right here. So Emmanuel Macron. So this is the first round of voting. Okay, and so basically what happens is the top two candidates move on to the runoff if no candidate in the first round gets the majority. So as you can see here, Macron won with 85% of the vote. So obviously that's not more than 50%, and he did not get a majority. So that means that there is a runoff, and they take the top two candidates to compete, and that will be like our U.S. elections. So if we look here, Emmanuel Macron won the first round. Doesn't mean anything, but he won with 27.85% of the vote. Marine Le Pen won 23.15%. Now, remember back in 2017 how Le Pen lost by winning half of what Macron won? Yeah, and now she's 4 points behind him in the first round. That should be extremely scary for Emmanuel Macron, and of course it is scary for him. We know that he is fearing this election. So I know you're thinking, why is this so important? And you might know about Marine Le Pen already. Well, Marine Le Pen is extremely far right. Alright, I'll just say that. She has refused to condemn Nazism, and I'm not being biased against her. I'm going to point out everything that's bad with Macron as well. She has refused to condemn Nazism. She openly stands with Putin She stands with Russia in the Russia v Ukraine. She wants to get out of NATO. So as you can see, and she stands with Donald Trump also. She supports Donald Trump. That's also something to point out. So she's very similar to Trump on policy. She's very much an isolationist. And she posts a picture of her cats on Instagram, if that means anything to you, if you're a cat lover. So as you can see, what I'm saying is pretty crazy. People thought Trump was really radical in 2016. And a lot of people, I was just talking to Minnesota Predictions, a great channel on YouTube that you should check out. I was talking to him yesterday and on the live stream. And Minnesota Predictions was saying how he would vote for Trump over Le Pen. And he is, I'll just say it because he says in the description, he's a progressive Democrat. He does not support Trump at all. So, and he would rather vote for it. And I feel that that's the case for many Americans. Le Pen is much more radical than Trump, and her policy just shows that. I'm not just saying that. She is much more radical than Trump, yet she has a chance, and polls are showing just that. So I think that this will be decided by a lean-to margin anyway. So that was just a little bit about Le Pen. But I pull up the first round of voting to talk about Jean-Luc Mélenchon, who, if we go to his Wikipedia page, he did run on the Socialist Party. He was a socialist from 76 to 2008, and the Left Party. He ran on the Left Party, a progressive, very left-wing party. Democratic Socialist Party, universal health care, all that. He's basically like a Bernie Sanders of the United States. And if we go to the first round, people forget how well he did. He won 2 points behind Le Pen. That should be frightening for her as well. 2 points. And this is a Democratic Socialist, the Left Party. So what my point is that Mélenchon will be taken out of the first round, or of the second round of voting. It's just going to be Macron and Le Pen. So Mélenchon, I'm not saying that all of his supporters will turn out to vote for Macron or Le Pen, because many people feel that they don't fit, their political beliefs don't fit Macron or Le Pen's. But those who do turn out for them, who are they going to turn out for? The moderate or the far right? And that would be the moderate, because it's closer to their ideology. See, so this 21 points is huge. And what my point is that's most likely going to go to Macron. Alright, that is the point. And I'm not saying, again, that all of them will turn out. I just think that many will. And then, so he really needs the Mélenchon vote to win this election. So, looking at polls, second round, this is the polling, and Macron does lead. I will say that Macron is leading in almost all polls. If we look at this one, Macron has 55 to 45, and this is Politico Europe. This is Europe's version of, it's Politico in Europe, the one that's popular. And it has Macron plus 10, double digits, and I'm not saying that every poll says that. Many polls say that Macron is up by 3. Many say, look, at one time he was up by 6 in the Politico poll. Many say that he is up by 6. Many say that he is up by 4. Whatever it is, they have Macron leading. And I also will point out that I think that this election in France is very similar to 2016 in the United States. All polls, even the Fox News poll, said Hillary Clinton would win. And if we go back to the beginning of the race, she was up by 20, even 30, not 30. She was up by like 15 or 20 points. And that is how it was for Le Pen in 2017 election in France kind of proves that also, if you count that as sort of a poll. But then as it gets closer to the election, it really narrows up. And what comes out, the far-right candidate who is behind wins. Yet, France is a smaller country, and polls aren't as accurate. So, talking about Le Pen's strength a little bit, because we talked about Macron's with whatever his name is, the Democratic Socialist, but with giving strength to Macron. But Le Pen's strength really comes from the fact that people want change. It's a thing about humanity and humans voting, is that they want change. And I'm writing about this in a book that I'm writing. They want change, whether it's in a negative way or a positive way. See, I compare this to the 2016 election much because Emmanuel Macron represents Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Macron is the guy who's like, let's keep it how it is. It's not perfect, but the other side will mess everything up and it's going to become insane. And that was just like Hillary Clinton in 2016. She was like, okay, let's continue the Obama stuff. The Trump stuff is way too radical for us, right? And what happens is Donald Trump ended up winning. And that is exactly what's happening in this election. Marine Le Pen is promising change. And people know that this is in a negative way. For most French people, this is in a negative way that she will make change. Yet they know it. I have watched numerous videos about this, interviews specifically with French voters. One woman said that she was going to reluctantly end up voting for Marine Le Pen. And she didn't say that, actually. She said, so they were talking about Macron, and she said, I'm basically going to vote for the other side, even though I don't like it. And she would not say Marine Le Pen's name. She would not, because she was embarrassed of it. This is going on with millions in France. They are embarrassed to say it, but they will vote for Marine Le Pen. And as we were talking about on the live stream yesterday, this is, again, exactly like 2016 in the United States. People were embarrassed to admit it, but they were going to turn out and vote for Donald Trump, even though they were embarrassed. And that's exactly the thing with polls, and why polls in every election are deceiving. I mean, in 2016, Hillary was leading in all polls because people who would eventually turn out for Trump weren't pretty embarrassed of it. They did not want to express that they were voting for Trump, and they would not vote for him in a poll. And that's why Hillary Clinton led, because people, Democrats, they would turn out, or they would fill in Hillary Clinton on a poll. But the Trump supporters, no. They would do undecided, or maybe even Hillary. And this is the same thing that's going on. And voters have said this themselves. So, Le Pen is... So we have, I was going to say bad stuff about Macron. So, the change. So why do French voters want change? It's largely due to the fact that a lot of people are not happy with the direction that France is heading in right now. And it's very similar to the United States also. They have massive inflation. Their support for NATO has been going down. The refugee crisis, most people feel like France is letting in too many refugees, and the French are not liking this. They're thinking that France has become a country of refugees more than the French, and the many people who are very pro-France in France are going to vote for Marine Le Pen because of this. And even though it's not positive change, they want a change from what's going on right now. Yet, many, again, as I was saying, are embarrassed to admit it. So, what is my final prediction? My final prediction is that Emmanuel Macron will win the 2022 French presidential runoff. Now, these are really hard for me, And Virginia was hard for me, and New Jersey was hard for me, because I want to get it right always, right? And whenever I say the guy who's always most likely to win, I always don't want to, kind of, because I feel like the other side is going to turn out winning, and I could have been that one person who thought that they were going to win. But then if I say the other person is going to win, it's just too risky, and they might not. I did it in Virginia, I did it in New Jersey, and I don't want to do it again. So I do think that Macron will win, and it's largely due to the fact that he won the first round of voting by 4 points. Yet there was left-leaning candidates, more moderates in the race also, but more Democrats, basically, of the United States in the race, yet he was still able to win. Marine Le Pen, if we look down, at the Republicans, there's not many, of course, I know, but Republicans, I guess, would go to Le Pen, but French Communist Party, they're not going to Le Pen. Socialist Party, they're not going to Le Pen. All these others are not going to Le Pen. But the fact that Mélenchon won so many votes, and Macron was still able to win the first round, it really makes me think that Macron will win. So, yeah. Look at this here. For the latest issue, a lot of people are scared of Le Pen. Look at this Politico issue. The end of Europe. Marine Le Pen. So, my final prediction is, I think that Macron will pull out a win, and it was largely due to the first round of voting, as I just said. And, that's all I have to say, really. I think that he will pull out for the win. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I really think so. So, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. And really, why am I even saying that? Because it's so insignificant compared to what's going on right now in the world. And this is such a consequential election. So let me know who you're rooting for in the comments. And I'm really surprised. I'll just point out that I'm really surprised that Le Pen even has a shot. Like Trump, I didn't think had a shot in 2016 when I was young, but he did. But this is much worse. She stands with Putin. She has refused to condemn Nazism. She has done many very radical things that people wouldn't think that a presidential candidate in any country would do and have a shot, but she does. So I do think that Macron will win. So that is the end of this video. If I'm live streaming, be there. And I will see you all next time. Thank you for watching.